Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you've seen and if you want to see more. Coming up in today's episode, most of the highlights from the quarter-final game between Canberra Tigers and HKR at HKR's Craven Park, plus 2 NRL reports are from Canberra Raiders and Melbourne and the Rabbitohs Vs the Dragons. It's quarterfinals weekend with the Betfred Challenge Cup, and the first match that we see of the weekend is between Kingston Rovers and Canberra Tigers, who played their quarterfinal at the Craven Park on Premier Sports. With both of these teams fighting it out in this quarterfinal to reach semi-finals, which are being held at Ellen Road this year as a double-header in the 40,000 capacity stadium. With that, who have both teams picked to play for their place in the semi-finals? Well, let's begin with Cass. Former Robin George-Illawarra is the only person to drop out of the 17th from last weekend's game, as he's suspended, and Dan Smith comes into the front row in his place. For HKR, Corbin Sims and Tom Garrett drop out of the 17 altogether, with Greg Richards and Jordan Abdul coming in their place. Rowan Milne and Mikey Lewis will make up the partnership at halfback, while Jez Litton drops to the bench for Matt Parcells. And it's HKR on the attack on the 3rd minute, and a great disguised scrubber kick is picked up by Elliot Mernicella, who goes over for the try. After a couple of checks by the video referee, it is given, as it's a fantastic effort, and Lachlan Coote adds the extras for 6-0 for the Robins. It got even better for HKR just before half-time, well, midway through the first half, as Elliot Minchella scored his second, and again, he gets on the end of another Rowan Milne grubber, so that it can extend HKR's lead to 10-0, with Coote adding the extras for a 12-0 lead. And he almost had a hat-trick, as he was denied by the video referee, as he ruled that he lost the ball over the line after being put through a gap by hooker Matt Parcells. This was a warning to Cass, and they almost came up with a try for themselves, and they showed their threat when Beretta Faraimo broke from his own half and kicked ahead for his centre Jake Malmo, who managed to palm the ball back into play for the home side just to force it out into the dead ball line. Cats, though, came roaring back on the 25th minute after some fantastic play. Deep in KR territory, Kenny Edwards goes to the line and throws a cutout pass to Greg Eden, who has enough about him to dive over in the corner for Castlefort's first try of the half on the 25th minute. The video referee checked, and it was all good. Gaz O'Brien missing the kick this time. It was a double for Castleford after some great play by Jordan Turner and Gareth O'Brien. It seems that Greg Eden just had to just have rolled into the end goal area for his second try of the game. This took Eden's tally to 99 tries in 93 Castleford appearances and 10 for the season. At this moment in time, if you put a bet on him to score, it's more than likely going to happen, and you're going to get money back. It's fantastic. Gareth O'Brien adds the extras, and it's 12-10 at half time. Both sides came out firing in the second half, but HKR unfortunately lost Mikey Lewis to a left leg injury. Looking at the tape, ankle, Achilles, which puts him as a major doubt against Hull in the local derby. A few minutes later, though, some great hands by Milne, Lynette and Coote saw a cutout pass to Ryan Hall, who went in to score in his left edge, his favourite position, but fantastic play by HKR. Cats weren't without their injury problems either, after Jordan Turner was forced off with a wrist injury, a nasty looking one, as he stayed down on the floor with the ball in his left hand, but the right hand being strewn. Turned out that the left wrist was the problem, but he couldn't carry on for the rest of the game, so that's wishes to him as well. The all-important try came on the 65th minute when a Jordan Abdul, who came on for the injured Lewis, hit a bomb, a high kick, which bounced fortuitously into the arms of Rowan Milnes, who went over and scored underneath the posts. Lachlan Coote added the extras, so it made it 22 points to 10. HKR pushed on and they went right, and after some great play by Sam Woods, he finds a gap, and before his ankle tapped, he goes over the line and scores to make it 26 points to 10. Coote adds the extras to make it 28 points to 10. And to finish off the game, a Gareth O'Brien kick didn't have the distance and falls into the hands of Jordan Abdul, who breaks a tackle, dummies through another, and runs 60 metres essentially to score the final try of the game to make it 32 points to 10. And Coote adds the extras for 34 points to 10. Fantastic day for Elliot Minchella after his injury problems, and also Rowan Milnes, who did fantastically well coming in for Jordan Abdul in the second game, and pulled the strings, getting a try for himself, setting up 3 for a great day for Hull KR. We now move back into the NRL as there were 3 games played on Saturday morning. I just need to say that I'm covering 2 games for this episode as time constraints and the attire I'm wearing means that I will only be able to cover the 2 games. Now, first game that we're going to look at today is the Canberra Raiders home game against the Melbourne Storm, who are both in different types of form at the moment. Canberra not doing so well, and Melbourne getting back to their irrepressible best. So here are the 2 teams. A late change on game day sees Hudson Young drop out of the matchday squad completely, and the place is taken by Ryan Sutton in the number 19 jersey. Xavier Savage is the 18th man though, as Sutton moves up the rankings. The Storm are 1-17 with no late changes, as Craig Bellamy names the 17 that get the job done in style against the Bulldogs last time out in the 44-0 win. Jaden Nikorima is the 17th man involved in the game today. So the first half started, and determined to make amends for their poor start against Manly last week, the Raiders started strongly and led 2-0 through a penalty goal from Brad Schneider in the 6th minute, after Munster was pinged for a high tackle. Melbourne though hit back on the 14th minute when Grant exploded out of dummy half and powered over the top of Charles Nicol-Klokstad to grab the game's first try. A sustained run of possession for the Storm led to the second try in the 20th minute when Hughes danced around a couple of Raiders close to the Raiders line to make the scores 12-2. 3 minutes later, the Storm machine clicked into gear again as Munster broke into the backfield and found Ryan Papenhuyzen in support for the fullback to race away and grab his 7th try of the year. Slick hands on the right hand side gave Semi Viliame some room to move, and the winger powered through at the attempt to tackles of Papenhuyzen and Brandon Smith to get Canberra's first try on the 33rd minute. 2 Storm defenders clashed heads as they scrambled to try and stop a try, and Papenhuyzen was forced off the field with a HIA, but he passed fit to return for the second half. A split bomb for Nicol-Klokstad in the 49th minute handed Melbourne a golden chance to extend their lead. A spilt bomb by Nicol-Klokstad in the 49th minute, and Justin Olam obliged by skittling 3 defenders on his way over to score to extend the lead for the Storm to 24 points to 8. Nick Kotrick gave a big contingent of Raider fans at McDonald's Park something to cheer about when he crossed with 9 minutes to play to make it 24 points to 14. But that's as close as Ricky Stewart's men could get. Hughes iced the victory soon after when he danced his way through the defence to score from close range before Snyder landed a penalty goal to make the final margin 14. The Storm have now won the past 5 games against the Raiders and sit atop of the ladder, being for the time being, before Penrith's tie against the Bulldogs on Sunday. The final score: Melbourne Storm 30, Canberra Raiders 16. So the next game that we're going to look at is between two sides that desperately need a win, as both sides are not in the best of forms during this NRL 2022 season. Round 5 seems to be the chance for both of these teams to get some points on the board, as South Sydney Rabbitohs took on St George-Illawarra Dragons. Both teams made extensive changes to their playing squads, with the Rabbitohs calling back Lebanon international John Mansour in place of Jackson Paulo in the backline after being dropped in the wake of the round 1 loss to Brisbane Broncos. Mark Nichols is out for up to 8 weeks after scans confirmed a syndesmosis injury. He will be replaced by Tom Burgess in the front row. David Morwale and Blake Taff are the new faces on the bench. Taff will be providing cover for fullback Latrell Mitchell, who's battling a knee injury. Halves Cody Walker and Lachlan Ilias, and the outside backs as well is what Taft is on the bench for. And the outside, and he is expected to burst into action just before half time or early into the second half in his return from an ankle injury. Army Saleh is the 18th man. For the Red V, it is Jaden Sewer who makes a boost for the Dragons as he returns in time to face his former club. Sewer's return shifts Jack Goziewski to the reserves. Moses Mbai retains his half-back spot, with Latrell Sloan dropping out of the squad. Aaron Woods starts up front, with Blake Lawrie moving back to the interchange bench. There's no changes when the side when they were finalised 60 minutes before the kickoff. The first half started off slowly for the Dragons, as the scars from conceding 36 points in last week's second half seems to be hanging over the Dragons. South Sydney took full advantage down the middle third, with Damien Cook's second line break leading to a Latrell Mitchell try. Star fullback had minimal impact afterwards, succumbing to a hamstring injury that had been troubling him all week. Side effect of the knee injury, I think. Matt Fargay looked dangerous down the left flank, and Zach Lomax ruined a certain Jack Bird try with an ordinary pass. South finally put on another try for Keon Kolamatangi to take a comfortable lead into the break of 10 points to 0. The second half started off scrappy and continued the whole way through with the half. The Dragons earned the first attacking set, and Moses Mbai scored from it. They immediately lost the momentum through a Zach Lomax error, and Souths made them pay with a nice backline move, sending Campbell Graham over to reassert their 10 points lead. From here, both sides played scrappy football, with only the breaking errors coming when it appears Cameron Murray had crossed for the match-sealing try. It was called back for an obstruction in the lead-up to the try. The errors continued to mount in the closing stages, and the Dragons struggled to apply any pressure to claw back the deficit. The Rabbitohs were able to regain their groove after a penalty goal, which was followed up by a Tane Milne try in the final few minutes. The Dragon regained the ball off the final kickoff, and Jaden Sewer added their second try of the match, which saw the South Sydney Rabbitohs, yes, I got it right that time, win 24 points to 12 for the Dragons. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide so we can get the word out for rugby league in general and also this channel. And also click the notification bell for any updates that may be coming your way in the next few days when it comes to the world of rugby league. So, that being said, tell me what your thoughts are of today's episode. HKR, there's a few murmurs on the internet that they were lucky in a few decisions to get through, but do you think they were a better team on the night? But how much of a disappointment would it be if they lose Mike Lewis for an extended period? He's been really good for them at the beginning of the season. Melbourne Storm just keep on ploughing, doing what the Storm do. It's performance that they needed to do, but it means that Canberra Raiders are in trouble. And they need some difference. They don't need a second half of the season rebuild. They need an immediate rejigger now. And the other game, the Rabbitohs get the important win. Pushes up the season, up the table for the time being, but they need a little bit more, I reckon, or they can even get towards the top of the table. Latrell Mitchell being injured and being managed during the game, that's not good signs for them. They need something to fall their way with their star man, because I think they're over-reliant with them at the moment. It's a top player, don't get me wrong. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Remember to share this video worldwide. And in the meantime, please stay safe. I wish you all the best. I'll see you in the next episode.